Well, here is revision 2, as it is labeled at the bottom. Number of changes to this: 1, reduce the power consumption by about 60%. Fix the display so it's now a static display, so it's not dependent upon your camera shutter speed. It's always on. No matter what shutter speed you use, it'll show up. Improve the transducer, I'll show you that in a second, and lengthen that cable. Added the SD card inside of it, and I'll show you that, as well as the real-time clock that's needed to put date and time on the result file, or the CSV. Other than that, it should be pretty similar. The solar panel is mounted the same way on top. The power button, tear cal, connect your solar panel via that solar panel black connector, and you connect your transducer on the bottom there. The transducer we changed. I went to this channel and mounted the transducer to the channel with a couple screws. I put the strain relief on the cable. You can really tug on this now and not hurt it. And then you use 2 quarter 20 screws to mount it to your perch. And the channel is threaded now, so that you just drive the screws through it and it attaches it nice and solid. Same thing as before, you apply your perch load to the transducer in the direction of the arrow. Try not to have it hanging over like I do, but whatever, as long as you calibrate it that way. The other thing is, when you power it on, it will show the time now. So just check that. It's Mountain Standard Time, so it does the high, it does the tear with the scale on, and then it's going to show the time, 1832. So 6:32 Mountain Standard Time, and then it goes to 0.00 to say I'm ready to take some measurements. So just like before, well, not like before, now the display goes off and doesn't have the blinking colons. In fact, this new display does not even have colons, so that's dead. But as soon as a bird or a weight or something gets on there over the 1/2 kilogram, it's gonna start to register, and it's gonna start to log to the file every 10 seconds. So if you leave the weight on there for 10 or 20 seconds, you'll see it in the result file. Well, you'll see it, the first measurement, and then every 10 seconds after it sees a weight above 1/2 kilogram, it adds entries to the result file and just keeps appending a row for every measurement, 10 seconds between them. Calibration is the same as before. You're just going to push and hold the cal button for 5 seconds. It'll display tear when it gets there. So there's tear. Just wait for it to tear. Then it says cal. It's waiting for the weight. So you hang your 3.5 kilogram weight on the perch. And then you're going to come over and hit the cal tear button again. And it'll say caled to tell you that it's calibrated. And then you can wait for it to show the weight. Should be 3.5 kilograms. And then you can remove your known weight, and now the scale is ready for use. It does also log every time you calibrate it, so you'll keep a record of calibrations, which might come in handy if you ever have issues. You can tell me what the calibration is. So that's the box. I'll show you a few more things. First, we'll take off the transducer so I can show you that a little bit better. Not enough hands. Oh, not far enough. There we go. So this is the transducer. Like I say, I mounted it in a channel with that strain relief on it, so all the fragile stuff is pretty well protected. And I put heat shrink on it, and I'll send you the screws to mount it. And these holes are just threaded, so all you gotta do is drill a through hole, and then these will thread into there to hold it to your perch. And then you apply your load out here. In addition, I'll send you this charger, so now you can charge the box back at the office if it does go dead. With this new lower current draw, we extended our battery life to about 18 days if there's no sun on the solar panel. So assuming you're in the dark all the time, it'll go for about 18 days without any issue, but beyond that, it could go dead, so hopefully we get some sun. But if not, you can take it back and charge it to use it. You obviously just plug it into an outlet and then attach it to the solar panel connector point. Let's see if I can do this. And one thing you'll notice in the front of this box, I added a little hole so you can see the charging indicator in there. The green light means it's charging. The red or amber light means, the green light means there's power from the charger. It sees the charger. And the amber light means it's charging. When it's done charging, the amber light will go out, but the green light will stay on. So basically you plug it in, make sure you get green and amber, and when it's completed, the green light will be on, but the amber light will have extinguished. So that's that. I'll show you the SD card. It's pretty straightforward. What did I do with my screw gun? One thing is, I think you'll want to make sure you turn off the power when you insert and remove the SD card, because you can corrupt the card. It won't hurt the box, but you could corrupt your card and lose all your data. So you'll want to bring a screw gun with you, or an intern with a screwdriver. But you'll take the cover off, and there is a micro SD slot in here. It is labeled from the top. I'll take that solar panel off a minute so I can show you. If you look at the top, it's labeled micro SD. There's also the battery for the real-time clock over here is a CR1220. You shouldn't have to ever replace that. That's supposed to last 5 years. But to get the micro SD card out, you just push it down like any micro SD. It pops out. You pull it out. When you insert it, it's labeled down. Terminals up. So terminals up. Can't see it. There it is. You push it in and it clicks in. Obviously, this is nothing new to you. And I will send you a card reader in case you don't have one. I've got a bunch of these, and the card only needs to be like 1 gigabyte. This thing's 16 gigs. You'll be able to put like 20 years worth of data on this thing, but obviously that entry every 10 seconds, and each entry is only 100 bytes. You can go for a long time. So I'll show you what the file looks like. You're basically gonna, can't do this. Put that into a reader, put it into your computer. Sorry. I don't know what I got going on here with this window. What are you doing? Well, go to the other screen. So up there you can see there's a file on here called datalog.csv, and you can, well, let's open that file. And down here on the other screen, there it goes, that went away now. Basically it's just going to make an entry every 10 seconds when there's a weight greater than 1/2 kilogram with the date, the time, the temperature in Celsius, and the weight in kilograms. It also makes an entry when you power it on, or if you calibrate it. We should be able to see our calibration. We can see that we powered it on down here at 632 and we calibrated it at 633, and it shows what values it used for calibration. So that's kept in there. Shows the weight. You can see we put a weight on there of 3.56 kilograms, and it just keeps appending to this file. Now you can do a couple things if you want. You can leave that file on there forever and it'll just keep adding to it, or you can delete it and put it back in, and it'll create the file if there's one non-existent. So it doesn't matter if you delete it or leave it, or you can empty the file out and it'll add to it, but you don't have to worry about keeping it there if you don't want it. So that's that. You want to put the card back in. Like I said, label down, terminals up. I'm going to do it up here, and you want to make sure it's off so you don't corrupt your SD card. Now, if you didn't put an SD card in, I'll quick show you that, and you powered it on. I don't have the SD card in, it's sitting down there. You'll see it tear just like normal, and it's going to try to initialize the SD card and it won't find it, and you'll see a message that says no SD. No SD, so that means there's no SD card data that's going to be logged. Now the scale will still work, it'll still display weight, and I didn't mention that, but that's your time in military. Mountain Standard Time I set it to. I tried to set it to the atomic clock as close as I could. It's like 5 seconds off, but hopefully it's pretty close, and that should stay accurate for a long time. But anyways, you can use it without the SD card, and it won't hurt anything. It just won't log data. But like I said, you'll want to turn it off, put that SD card in with the contacts up and the label down. You push it in just like any other SD card, slide it in, and then you put the cover back on. And just one thing on that is don't over tighten them. You want to get, there's a gap on the side here. You want to eliminate that gap. I'll show you. About like that. So it's, the gap's eliminated, but you don't have to really drive these. Basically, you're trying to reseal that gasket and prevent water from getting in. And it shouldn't do that, except for when you're not putting enough current onto it. So, and that's what I'm going to send you. Same as before, power button, Cal-Ter button, connect the solar panel and the transducer. See it.